So I don't know how it is with Nigel Farage and pretty much most of the MPs now. I think all of them. But this is just on Facebook, right? And here we have, just scrolling through Facebook, right? Here's Nigel Farage talking. Now, this is the thing, right? This is all over the place. And this is just someone who's posted it on a Facebook page or Facebook group or whatever, right? And he's Nigel Farage talking. But this is the thing. He's not talking to a person in an interview. He's talking to us. He's talking to everyone. He's talking to everyone on the internet and everyone in the country. Now, Farage, he was a member of the European Parliament, wasn't he? Right? He was a member of the European Parliament, right? And he got accustomed to, having a little bit of fame and being famous, but he wasn't a member of the UK British Parliament, and he didn't really have any constituents in England. So he wasn't really under the law of Parliament or the rules of Parliament. He was just going about in Europe, and if you don't really pay attention to that, you don't really hear much from these people. There's that Irish woman who's a member of the European Parliament, or who was, right? And I hadn't really heard much or seen much from her before, right? I suppose if you follow it all, but when you ever really see her speaking or talking, you really hear her and see her talking in the European Parliament, because that's why she's elected, right? If she wasn't elected to the European Parliament, right, she wouldn't be able to vote in there, and her opinion would be pretty much pointless. She gets elected to represent the people of Ireland and have a voice for them in that European Parliament, and she's got the privilege of being filmed and heard because she's speaking in there, and that is what gets on the official record. If you're not in there, you don't get elected in there. You're just, the same as anyone else. Now, if you're just an Irish person and you're making YouTube videos, your voice, your opinion and your voice is only worth as much as anyone else's, right? Now, if you're very, very famous and you've got a lot of fans and following socially, you can get people to listen to you, right? And you can influence people like Elon Musk or Russell Brand or whoever. You can have an influence on them, right? But you're not really supposed to tell them how to vote or who to vote for, because that's affecting elections, and there are certain election rules for any members of the public. But this is the thing. It doesn't matter whether you're Russell Brand, and it doesn't matter whether you're Elon Musk, and it doesn't matter whether you're Jimmy Dore or whoever, because no matter what Jimmy Dore says, right, or Donald Trump or Elon Musk or whoever, right, or Russell Brand, it only counts when we vote, right? And it's not on the official. He hasn't got the privilege to talk in Parliament or vote in Parliament. Russell Brand can't vote in Parliament or talk in Parliament, and he doesn't appear because we elected him to, and then we hear what he says and does, right? Now, this is the thing when it comes to the Parliament in England. If you're ministers of the Crown, right, you're ministering government to the whole country. And that's ministerial, like churches minister to their congregations, right? Ministers and bishops minister to congregations. They're ministering the business of the government to the people. So they need to talk to the whole country and tell us what they're doing, right? That's ministerial. But for MPs, members of Parliament in local areas, which is what Nigel Farage is. Nigel Farage is just an MP now, right? He's got a voice in Parliament, and he appears because he appears in the chamber to speak on behalf of his constituency in Parliament, and that is the privilege of what gets aired to the country and on the record in Parliament. That's why he gets elected to vote, right? Now, other than him appearing through those parliamentary broadcasts and debates, he isn't meant to appear to the rest of the country outside of that. He's only meant to appeal to his constituents. Now, I think that in the past, when they had the newspapers and the radio, MPs, look, they're always going on about how strict their protocol is for casework, right? They're always talking about how strict it is for casework, and you can only contact them or do casework if you're a local constituent or if you're a business. Now, they've been having some meetings with people who are interested in investing in the areas. They're from outside the area, but they're interested in investing in a constituency, and they get to meet MPs. But if you're a private person and you want to contact an MP about something in their area, they're telling us that we can't contact them or they can't do casework. Yeah, I've actually shown that if it's something like, if it's the MP for, Richmond or somewhere like near Kew Gardens, and it's to do with the National Archives, you're really meant to speak to the MP whose area it is, not your own MP, because that's the basis in the Tumultuous Petitioning Act. Petition into Parliament through the area which it arises, not from the area you are born from, right? So if you've got an issue with the National Archives, you would see the MP whose area is the National Archives, right? Not your own MP. But they haven't been doing that. They've been telling us that they can't speak to us or contact us about casework, right? Now, I actually believe that it's meant to be the same for the press, because they've only got an interest to speak to the press in their own constituency about matters to do with their area, including the newspapers or the local television, right, regional TV. And because if Nigel Farage is, look, right, he's talking and he's only telling everyone his opinion, right? Nigel Farage isn't meant to be giving people his political opinion and advice outside of Clacton-on-Sea, except when he goes on the record in the House of Commons on Hansard, right? Because otherwise, he's ministering his opinion as an MP from Clacton to the whole country. And he's only meant to be in surgery and to consult people of Clacton, right? He's telling everyone else that he can't do casework. And I actually think that it's not a matter of, you being able to speak to him. He's not meant to be sitting there dictating and telling people about anything other than to the people of Clacton. But yet he's getting all over the place. And he's also managing to raise his general profile in the country and make a name for himself and get himself famous. But he's doing this all over the world now. And this wouldn't have actually happened if it wasn't for Facebook, YouTube and Instagram joining everyone together and connecting all together, because people have got their own independent interests, websites and things like that. And this is actually bringing things in that you're not supposed to be sent or listened to, right? And I think that, they've got something in the House of Commons called misleading the House. If you mislead the House of Commons, it's an offence, right? What these MPs are doing now, and they're breaking the rules, they're breaking the rules, and they're defying the rules, and they're getting used to being famous, and they're using all this modern technology that suddenly appeared, and they are being ignorant to the rules. And I actually think they're misleading the country, the nation. It's not misleading the House of Commons. They're misleading the country and the nation. And I think there's something in the word misleading, right? Because it's got the word leading in it. Misleading, right? And what Nigel Farage is doing is he's missing his Clacton residents and getting the whole country. And he's trying to lead the whole country through social media, which is leading, right? And it's misleading because he's missing his constituents and he is going for the whole thing when he's not meant to be doing. And this is the thing, they've got him in Australia and all kinds of things. And I think that they're breaking the rules. And they're having a revolution and a rebellion. And it started around 2005, And they're all in on it. They're all in on it. Even people like Carla Denyer, unfortunately, and Sian Berry and people like that, who can't really be blamed for anything that Tony Blair did wrong, but they're just all misbehaving now. And they're misleading the country. And I think a lot of it's to do with fame. They've got too much confidence and too much fame. And they're meant to be MPs, politicians. They're not signed up to be celebrities. They're not signed up to go on game shows or TV or be a household name. They're signed up to meet constituents, do surgery, go into Parliament and vote, right? And if there's a matter of church, state or law in their local constituency, they can speak to the media about it. But now this media whole thing has exploded into one national thing. And this is what, this is to do with the one world government, and I think they're all breaking the law now. And something needs to be done about it. And Farage is one of the main culprits, and I think he's ignorant. And he's got all these lawyers backing him up who are basically lying for him. The lawyers are lying for these people to make out that it's okay. And the lawyers are misleading people illegally.